9 prison meals in different countries. Japan. A cafe located in the far northern town of Abashiri has a rather unusual option on its menu. It allows diners to eat whatever the inmates at the nearby maximum security prison eat. This means a dinner of rice boiled with mackerel pike, barley, daikon radish, noodle salad and miso soup. One journalist had even reported his surprise at the flavors on offer, stating that the meal was not exactly wanting in flavor, with the sweetness of the Japanese radish perfectly complementing the rice and the aroma of the mackerel. South Korea. In South Korea, the phrase kongbap myeokta is simple slang for serving time. When translated, it simply means to eat kongbap. Kongbap is a dish that consists of rice and beans and is extremely notorious in Korea for being very cheap prison food. It's as bland as the name makes it sound, but fortunately, there's much more to Korean jail dining than rice and beans. Bread, cheese, tomato sauce, soup, salad and soy milk are part of their breakfast menu. Lunch might even include a bone marrow and vegetable soup, along with bean sprouts, kimchi and seaweed. China. American Stuart B. Foster had described a rather brutal and unrelenting system in jail in China after he had been locked up for 8 months there. Foster was then forced to assemble Christmas lights all day and save 2 10-minute breaks for lunch and dinner. If work production did not improve, prisoners were forced to have their rations halved. Foster had stated that each meal, the prisoners were fed rice, turnips and some pork fat, which tasted terrible but was enough to sustain life. A cut in food rations was absolutely devastating, and Foster even remembers a few prisoners beginning to look skeletal. Thailand. Australian writer Harry Nicolaides had spent 6 months in a Bangkok prison after he was accused of defaming the Thai monarchy. Visitors could bring in food for the convicts, but Nicolaides wrote of a rather grim menu for those not so lucky to have any outside help. By 7 o'clock, a bell would ring, and all the prisoners would line up outside the mess hall, where plates of steamed rice husks were sitting on the benches for almost half an hour. Nicolaides wrote of all the wealthy inmates paying off the prison commodore, whose wife went shopping for luxurious food. India. India's extensive population and diverse culinary traditions mean there's plenty of variation in prison food, but one man who was jailed for 11 days gave a rundown of all the meals. Breakfast was a rice dish, puli hora, and lunch was a watery sambar, lentil stew, along with rice and a different curry every day. Dinner was a simple rasam, which is a tamarind juice soup and rice, with mutton or chicken curry, served on Sundays. There's a wide range of expenditure on Indian prison food by state, with Delhi spending about 31 rupees, which is about 60 cents per day, on food, and Nagaland shelling out nearly 139 rupees, $2.80. New Zealand. No one will go hungry in New Zealand jails, but the options are quite uninspiring. Breakfast usually alternates between Weet-Bix and rice bubbles. Options for sandwiches offered at lunch usually include creamed corn, relish, carrot, coleslaw and mayo, and luncheon with pickle. Dinner choices usually include sausages with curry sauce, meatloaf along with onion gravy, and fish with tomato sauce. Russia. Andrei Barabanov had spent nearly 4 years locked up after he was arrested at an anti-Putin protest back in 2012. Upon his release, Andrei created an Instagram page where he would post recipes of the food he and his fellow inmates made from all their meager supplies. Andre stated that the prison didn't give them porridge in the canteen but an incomprehensible grey mass. Andre even wrote of making his own meals with items he bought from the prison canteen. One such delicacy was the homemade Nutella, made by blending crushed digestive biscuits along with cocoa powder. Norway. Among all its Scandinavian neighbors, Norway has a reputation for being the most homely prisons in the world. In Bostøy prison, prisoners are fed wholesome meals like fish balls with white sauce and prawns, chicken con carne as well as salmon. Neither the guards nor the inmates wear any uniforms, and there's a monthly stipend if inmates wish to purchase and cook their own food. In Australia, about 44% of released prisoners had been jailed again within 2 years. In Norway, that number is only 20%. United States. With counties, states, cities, and the federal government all running their own prisons and jails, there's an incredibly broad variation of meals as a prisoner in the US. The Federal Bureau of Prisons menu features diverse selections like hummus wraps, Swedish meatballs, bean burritos as well as sloppy joes. Disobedient inmates in some jails are even fed Nutraloaf, an extraordinarily bland mash-up of vegetables. Nutraloaf is so incredibly unappealing that prisons have faced multiple lawsuits from convicts declaring it absolutely cruel and unusual punishment.